I really like this movie. I think that this is probably the worst possible video you could watch if you're trying to decide if you want to go see the film.
Bing bong.
I saw the TV Glow a couple weeks ago, and I've been thinking about it ever since I saw the movie. I don't even know where to start with a film like this, but I do think it's probably going to end up being one of the best movies of the year. Some of that is total recency bias because I saw it a couple weeks ago, but I think that structurally and the message in this film and on the surface level, it's telling an amazing story, really well acted. I just think that this is a truly special movie. To summarize, this film is a coming-of-age story about two kids that become friends due to their similar interest in this TV show. Now, the show is basically like a Goosebumps type of sort of scary, sort of like teen drama kind of TV show, the sort of things that were on when I was a kid. And the movie reminded me a lot of just different shows that I watched when I was younger, shows that like stuck with me. Either, I thought they were scary, or I just really enjoyed the storylines within the shows through this TV show, which is on super late at night. And so one of the kids' moms does not let him watch it. And so he goes over to this other girl's house to watch the show, and they become friends through that. And then one day, the girl disappears. That is really all I can say before I start to spoil everything else that makes this movie so special. But if just the concept of coming-of-age story about two kids that become friends due to their shared interest in the same TV show, if that interests you, then this is worth seeing just on its own. But the main reason that I'm hopping on here, asking people, telling people to consider seeing this movie, is I'm just genuinely curious what other people's interpretations of the events in this film are. Really, I don't even know if this is going to end up being a review, so much it is just a guy hopping on to make a video about a movie that I am fully willing to admit I may not fully understand. I have no issues admitting when a film goes over my head. I don't think this one went totally over my head, but I do think that there are probably people that watch this movie and take much more from it than I did. In fact, I think I could probably see it 2 or 3 more times just to really let it all sink in, because a lot happens in this movie that causes it to make you think and think and think well after the credits roll. I don't really know how to even fully interpret this movie. I know that there is a large amount of it that has to do with the main character's self-discovery, figuring out who he is, who he feels he's meant to be, and all of that is portrayed really, really well by Justice Smith, who's just a fantastic actor. It definitely gives like A24 vibes, like you understand why they produced it. But this is one that doesn't feel, I guess, like an A24 movie in the sense of like the weirdness. Although maybe that's not fair, because there are definitely some scenes in this movie that's like, that was really, really weird. I think more so just in the sense that like, it's weird. This is like, this movie is either really normal if you're like just taking it for what you're seeing, or it's the weirdest fucking movie you've ever seen in your life. Really, the last time I remember thinking about a movie this much was after I walked out of a showing of Beau is Afraid, which was another A24 produced movie that was just bizarre. And I think it's impossible to talk about this movie without getting slightly into spoilers, and so I just want to warn anybody who may have watched the first few minutes here. And if you've seen the film, then I genuinely want to know what you think. At a certain point in this movie, the missing girl returns. The friend that was the other half of this fandom of the TV show that they bonded over, she comes back and is convinced that she disappeared into the world of the show that they watched when they were kids. I don't know what to think fully. My interpretation of the events in this movie is that she dies. I think that when I'm looking back at this film, I don't recall if anyone else sees her after she comes back to tell the kid that she was in the world of the TV show. I legitimately think that based on everything this movie is presenting I think she takes her own life. And I think that his obsession with the show, and thus like his connection to like his only friend, he creates sort of this other version of the show in his own world where she's still alive and the show is like kind of real. That all might be so wrong, which if it is, I get it, because I truly am just trying to think of like what my interpretation of the events in this film were, and this is either a scenario where there is only one true answer of what's happening here, or there's a lot of different ways to interpret the movie. So either I'm a little bit right or I'm fully off base. And you know what? If I am, that's totally fine. It's just fascinating. Like, I think that it would make sense, based on everything this girl says early in the film, that she dies. And based on how much this kid struggles when she runs away from home, which is how it's handled in the movie, I feel like it's totally realistic that he would, create some version of reality where she's still alive. Also because there's a lot in this movie about the fixation that we have on television, especially as kids, or shows, and just how we're transported into these worlds when we're younger, when we're older. But I know a lot of us, at least me, my generation maybe, would get really invested in these TV shows when we were younger. And I don't really know fully what this video is, and maybe I'll talk about this movie again somewhere down the road, because I loved pretty much everything about it, and the soundtrack, also incredible. Some of the shots in this film are beautiful. I mean, most of the film is beautiful, but some of the shots specifically really, really stick with you. And this is, I fully understand. I fully understand this is a confusing video that I'm making. Not really like reviewing the movie very well. I just kind of wanted to talk about it because I think it's handling a lot of different subjects really well, or in a creative way. It's delivering a lot of these topics in a way that makes you think. I guess it feels like it's doing it in a productive way. I really like this movie. I think that this is probably the worst possible video you could watch if you're trying to decide if you want to go see the film. And I've also already spoiled some of it, not all of it, because there's a lot else that happens in this movie, but I definitely wanted to talk about the stuff that I was thinking of. And that's my quick chat on I Saw the TV Glow. I hope that you go see this movie, form your own opinion about what you think the story is really about, because it's so much more than just what the film is showing you, and let me know what you thought.